Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the Burgh with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to the Yinzers near and afar. Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 731 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Great to be back today, everybody. This is a big day. Just a big day. Some might call it this Christmas. If you are an NFL fan, Mike, of course, the free agency was our Christmas, but you know what? Yes. This is another Christmas. It comes up so soon. Mike, today's the day.
It is. Oh, my God. I'm so happy that it is now finally here. All the speculation is done, buried, over with. But the smoke screens are still going on, ramping up before the draft. You're hearing players that you've never heard talk negative about being talked about negatively. One day before the draft, you know teams want players to fall. You had unnamed scouts, unnamed GMs, random coaches speaking out against players in the media, all anonymously. That tells you that teams want these guys to fall. I love it. Because remember, 2 years ago, C.J. Stroud couldn't wipe his own ass and had one of the best rookie seasons ever. I love this time of the year.
Well, speaking of smoke screens, we got Derpy in the house today for the big draft. Derpy, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? I know that you were hyped. I just, come on. The guy's been texting and calling and everything else. He cannot wait for draft day. Derpy, how you doing today, man?
You know, it is Christmas, fellas, and I'm ready for another Pittsburgh Steeler Christmas present. How about you?
We hope so. We hope that we don't get a sock of coal. We hope that we get a nice gift that everybody that can enjoy, everybody could love, everybody could want here in Pittsburgh. And guys, it comes down to tonight is the night, round one. Pittsburgh Steelers draft 21 overall, and we don't have a second round draft pick. So
that's the scary part.
That is the scary part. We do got to really we got to hit. We have to hit tonight. We really do, because if you don't hit on this first round pick and then you don't have a 2 and then you go into 3 tomorrow night and then ultimately go into 4 through 7 on Saturday, you don't want to put yourself in that kind of position. So, it's the pressure's kind of on the Steelers guys to hit a home run on day one. Because, there's some needs on this team. And depending on how this first round goes, I think this is going to shape how fans, really take this team moving forward with the coaching staff, with, just everything that we have. So I think tonight, for a few reasons, is kind of a very important night in the sense that we do have to hit a home run, Mike. And, I'm not talking about a 500-foot home run.
No.
But I think that we do have to hit a home run tonight.
We do. You hit on that first round pick. It doesn't matter what you do in the rest of the draft.
You're right.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of someone that we drafted in the TJ Watt draft or in the Cam Hayward draft or in the Big Ben draft. Well, Big Ben, I think we got Ike Taylor. But you know what I mean. You hit that on that first rounder, that makes all those other picks bonuses, man. They're like you're golden. Because that first round pick, man, can change the course of your offense, change the course of your defense. Man, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
Absolutely. Good morning to Keller Haas on the board. Nice seeing you, my friend. As always, welcome and happy game day to you. A lot of things going on, Mike. We got a lot of stuff we got to talk about today in preparation for the NFL draft tonight. It's finally here. I mean, come on. the Super Bowl, well, us getting eliminated from the playoffs was officially day one. At that point, you can't wait. You can't wait till draft day. We've been through. We had to
Already
sit through.
here.
We had to sit through everybody else playing in the playoffs and going to the Super Bowl, and then as I said earlier, the free agency is our first Christmas, and then now,
Yeah.
guys, this is indeed Christmas for the for us at least. This is what we wait for, and then after this, guys, it's a bunch of, as of 2 days ago, yesterday they started small OTA camps, and then also we have camp in the summer. So, guys, this is the big news. This is the big news for now and for some time. So the big, the question is, will the Steelers, will they hit a home run, guys, tonight? A lot of speculation that Shador Sanders, Mike, has is on the radar for the Steelers. I got a lot of things we're going to go over today. I don't even know where to get started, but one thing that I did see that was kind of startling, but at the end of the day, when I thought more about it, I'm not as startled perhaps as I could or should be. But George Pickens unfollowing the Steelers on Instagram. This seems.
You can set your clocks to it.
That's what I was going to say.
Pickens.
This seems like a standard thing nowadays. Whenever it's time to go into the the contract negotiations, players, I guess they believe that this is some kind of a mind game or whatever they believe it is. George Pickens unfollows the Steelers. Mike, what do you make of this?
He's done this before. Remember, he did it a couple years ago, unfollowed everyone but Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
So this is just George Pickens. Normally with other players, that's what they do. They unfollow everyone and for a contract. Some guys do it like this time of the year. Like, we unfollow because we know draft day and this time in free agency, our notifications are going to blow up on everything. So we just turn it off. We just unfollow. So we don't have notifications, and then after everything's done, we go back and follow. But with George, you don't know. It could be a contract ploy. It could just be George being the weird dude that he is.
Yeah.
And, he's done it before. So I just, I think it's just George being George. If it was anyone else on the team, I'd be like, oh, okay. Now we're getting serious in contract talks.
Yeah, some things had been said over the past couple of days. If I can find through my notes here, I do believe that Omar Khan came out and said, he says that something along the lines of, I don't even know where I have it, but he'd said something along the lines of he doesn't believe that any trade is going to happen with George Pickens. Certainly going into tonight, a lot of speculation going around. People saying, what, if you get the an offer you can't refuse, perhaps maybe you should make that move. But I don't see it happening, guys. Again, it doesn't really fit what the Steelers are doing and what's going on right now. And if they would happen to unload George Pickens, of course you're going to get picks later rounds, things like this. But again, I think that the Steelers want to put a good team out on the field. I think they are going to put George Pickens across opposite side, DK Metcalf, when the season gets going. And I do believe that there's nothing that's going to stop that unless, again, somebody comes up with an offer you can't refuse. But, Mike, I don't expect to see George Pickens traded tonight. Again, somewhere in my notes here, Omar Khan did say that it's not likely that he gets traded tonight. I don't think that's smoke screens, Mike. I do think that George Pickens will be in our lineup this year.
The only thing that would make me say no is if they go wide receiver in the first round.
Right.
Then the speculation heats up. Then it's like, okay, they probably will trade Pickens or anticipate this is our last year with him. So that would be the only thing that would make me think that they would trade him. If they take one in round one, I don't see it. I don't see any players on the team getting traded. I see them, maybe trading back or using some draft capital from next year to move into the second round.
I agree. Okay, Khan suggests that GP is staying.
Okay.
That's the note that I do have here. So there you have it. I don't want to talk about GP. We got a lot of things we got going on. We have the draft. We have college players that are going to be millionaires tonight. It all starts today, guys. This is draft day 2025 in Green Bay, Wisconsin, just less than 1 year away from the Pittsburgh hosting the NFL draft in 2026. It'll be here before you know it, guys. But I want to start with an interesting an interesting column that I did read. Not even a column, just a post. This was from Dov Kleeman. He says this. Dov says, "Oh boy, an NFL assistant coach on Shedeur Sanders," and this is what they said: "The worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good." Is the comments made about Shedeur Sanders, Mike? Of course, a lot of speculation. Will Sanders drop to 21? The guy was, originally a top 3 pick. So he fell out of the top 3, then out of the top 5. Now people are talking out of the top 10. People are talking about, Mike, maybe even making it to 21.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, do we learn anything by what's going on? And if Shedeur Sanders is sitting there at 21, do the Steelers really consider taking this quarterback?
This right here, that quote, because I saw that too. That's what, I saw that one, and I saw one about Abdul Carter. Apparently he's uncoachable. All this stuff coming out at the last minute. This was after Mike Tomlin said, they had a really good productive conversation with Shedeur Sanders. So someone wants this cat to fall to them. This to me just sounds like smoke screens, because why haven't you said this shit 3 months ago when the draft process started, when you've already had your meetings and stuff? Why are you waiting until 2 days before the draft? You want someone's stock to fall so you're able to draft him at your spot, or you can trade up and you don't have to trade up as far. To me, this all smells like smoke screens and of teams trying to tank a draft stock to jump above competition.
I mean, is anything like this, Mike? Could it be taken as fact? Could we say, maybe this guy makes a point? Maybe, there's these things that people just aren't talking about because it's the draft or whatever. Who knows? Political reasons. Who knows? Whatever the reason. Is it fair to think that maybe, just maybe, some of these things are true? That that this guy isn't perfect. That he didn't get shitted out on Christmas morning with the golden egg. The chances are this guy is not. It's ascending from the clouds here, Mike. Let's just say that some of these things are true. That's being said by this this NFL assistant coach. Obviously something's going on because his stock is dropping. He was being talked about heavily as a top 3 to 5 pick. Now, again, Mike, I got a note here that somebody said that there's a possibility that he might not even go on night 1.
Yeah. That I can see. I can see this, because it is quote unquote a weaker quarterback class, and you're supposed to have a strong one in the following. So if you need a quarterback, but you think you can wait a year and have, team finish a little bit worse next year and get someone who might be better, yeah, you might not take a quarterback this round. And yeah, you can take what the statement's saying at, okay, maybe this cat is like that, but you also have other teams that were glowing, oh man, we had a great conversation with them. So where's the truth? Is it the coaches speaking with their names on the record, just blowing smoke up his ass, or is the anonymous sources, or are they speaking the truth?
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
In any other situation, if somebody's daddy came along and coached his son, and they really took an odd turn. They not an odd turn. They made a turn. It was all at Jackson State. Then Dion gets the job at Colorado. Then his son comes and plays there a couple years. Doesn't have a great, by any means, great numbers. And he gets his jersey retired. And he's still the coach's son. He's Deion, and not any coach. It's not Mr. Williams' son. This is Deion Sanders' son. Mike, is this something that can ultimately just be a burden for a team that drafts him? Because again, there's a lot of unconventional things that are going on here. Not many top college athletes come out of the college that their dad coaches the team. Not many college athletes have their number retired after 2 seasons of fair football at best. Obviously there's a lot of better football players in college. At what point does the tire hit the road here, Mike, and we find out what we're really getting in Shedeur Sanders? Is it going to be in his rookie season? Is it going to be prior to that? Is there going to be, and I'm talking about just, and let's just say an issue. You don't want, if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, you don't want issues in the locker room. This is something that we've been trying to shake for about 10 years, and they kind of just seem to keep popping their head. Mike, do you think it's a wise move? And especially, nobody really knows what we have with Shador now. It's his stock's up, it's down, like you said. I mean, why wasn't this brought up early? There was things that was brought up early. Mike, is this guy a crapshoot? You take Shador Sanders with confidence, especially if you're a team like the Steelers who only have a number 1 pick, no number 2, and then it goes to number 3 to your next pick. Mike, is Shador Sanders a crapshoot for the Steelers?
Yeah.
I mean, a rookie quarterback to begin with is always a crapshoot.
Yeah, I was about to say, like any rookie quarterback is a crapshoot, like no matter who you get. And if it's, he is on record as saying like he doesn't mind sitting, for a year to learn. Okay, that's you're saying it on camera. You're not hopefully not blown smoke. But if you like his traits, I gamble on him. I like on any player. If you like what you see, you strip away the stats, but you look at the mechanics, you look at the way he plays the game. Does that translate to the NFL? And you think it does, and you think he can be the leader of your franchise? Roll the dice on him. We say that I say it all the time here. I didn't like the Kenny Pickett pick, but they did, and they rolled with it. So okay.
How many 3 to 4 year periods of time, Mike, do we have to deal with this?
I know.
Because again, if this is a bust, we start over at square one in 3 to 4 years, and we start looking for our guy again. Mike, I mean, this could go on for decades at this rate. At what point? And again, it's not easy. You can't just reach your hand out, throw a dart, and grab your franchise quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years. I get that. But, Mike, how long is it going to take the Steelers? Because, again, we're already on about a 9-year hiatus from the playoffs, 9 years. We have to get something going in way of franchise quarterback. Mike, let me jump over to Derpy. Derpy, does that happen tonight? Is tonight the day that we make the move? Is tonight the night that we pull the trigger and go get who we believe is going to be the Steeler quarterback of the future? I mean, obviously, Jackson Dart's a name that's being thrown around. Shador Sanders, I'm not so sure he's lasting all the way to 21. Again, smoke screens are very, very important and popular here at draft time. So I'm still trying to convince myself that Shador will be available at 21. But Derpy, do the Steelers take the plunge tonight with their number 1 pick overall? Again, we don't pick till 3. We don't pick till late round tomorrow night. Is it possible that we pull the trigger and go for a guy tonight?
Yes and no. It's really 50-50 for me.
And I'm seeing this, Derpy. I'm seeing if the Steelers don't make a pick tonight for a quarterback, that the Kirk Cousins rumors are already starting to swirl. Kirk Cousins will be a very good possibility.
I wouldn't mind Cousins.
If in fact we don't draft a quarterback tonight. Did you say you will or you won't like Cousins?
I said I wouldn't mind Cousins. I
mean, the guy. The thing about that guy, he always gets his numbers, but his teams just don't win. What's his story, Mike?
He's not a big time player. He sucks.
But he's got out of his end of his career too.
He's at the end of his career. He can't move.
He just won't go away.
He got benched for Michael Penix Jr. Okay, this guy is at the tail end of his career. He did not rebound from his Achilles injury the way Aaron Rodgers rebounded from his Achilles injury. If I'm going to go after an old beat up quarterback, I'm going to go after Aaron Rodgers, who showed he can still play.
If I'm going after an old beat up white guy, I'm taking the Hall of Famer.
Exactly. I'm not taking it. Like, if you want a Kirk Cousins, you draft a Shador Sanders, accurate quarterback that doesn't have a cannon for an arm, but someone that can play on time in the pocket and in rhythm with a high completion percentage. That's Shador Sanders. That's what he is. He's a modern day Kirk Cousins / Chad Pennington.
All right, guys.
Someone who would be a top 20 quarterback.
Mike, let's jump on the board. I don't want to keep people waiting any longer. Yeah. Mark Malone says Sanders is a bust, my dudes. What's up, Mark? Nice seeing you this morning, my friend. Also, Mark says I wouldn't sign him as an undrafted free agent. Good morning to Richard. Richard says, good morning. It's con time. Hopefully he makes some magic happen tonight. That's right, my brother. Good morning to you. Adam, welcome to the show, sir. Good morning to you. He says he'll gladly take Sanders at 21. Mark Malone said the burden will be the busts play. Also, Richard goes on to say, I would not take any quarterback in this year in the first round. Mark agrees with him and says, yeah, me neither.
I'm not taking a defensive lineman either.
Mark also goes on to say you can't wait for one to develop. If he hasn't developed by year 2, got to get one in another draft. Mark Malone also goes on and says, and again, I don't think it's a bad strategy to draft 2 at a time. Double down, homies. And then Richard says, Derpy is always coming in with a solid opinion. He always waits till I start talking, then he gives that most solid opinion I've ever heard. No, but Derpy, what were you saying?
I was saying I wouldn't mind Sanders, but like I don't think it's gonna happen. And the other thing is, I really don't want a defensive lineman in the first round.
I just don't know if we can afford a defensive lineman in the first round. I understand the need, but does no one else understand the need that we have on the other side of the ball? A defensive lineman might make 3 big plays a game. We need a guy that touches the ball every single play and is able to be productive. And that's where I stand. Is my opinion. I go quarterback tonight. I go Jackson Dart in the first round. That's just me. That's just me. I mean, there's about 4 or 5 teams ahead of us that do need quarterbacks: the Saints, Jets, Giants, Browns, Titans. And then if Jackson Dart is still there after a lot of these picks, I do believe we have a chance. But you might be right, Derpy. Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders, the guys that I like may be gone. But Mike, there's also other names, Shock and the guy from Ohio State. You know, there's other quarterbacks out there, and those aren't guys that you're going to take in the first round. I do acknowledge that. However, if that becomes the case, Mike, do we in fact draft that guy later on in the draft? Do you kind of find that as a waste to maybe use your quarterback pick later? Or, Mike, is it just more sensible to go with Mason Rudolph? Now, this guy, if anything, nobody knows. He's the Charlie Batch. Nobody knows this team right now better than Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
The guy stood on the sideline with a clipboard and headphones for years and years and years, goes to Tennessee, gets some playing time, doesn't do the greatest. But at the end of the day, do you start him and then maybe say, you know what, if we don't do so fantastic, that will only help in next year's draft in Pittsburgh. Then maybe we could work magic, trade our way up, get somebody like an Arch Manning, perhaps whoever's out at the time. So, Mike, this is a very, very interesting draft. This is not only a big draft. This is a draft that could shape this football team for years, years to come.
Yeah, that's why one of the reasons I have no problem, with them taking a defensive lineman in the first round. You get there and you get a quarterback in the third round. Something like a Will Howard. You still have Mason. Will Howard, he can develop under Mason. And, if Mason doesn't work out, great, man. We get a higher pick next year. We can go out and get another one of those quarterbacks. And you still have Will Howard there. And Mason, you would have your quarterbacks there, your potential starter, long-term starter, and 2 guys that are valuable backups. That'd be an okay situation right there. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards a position other than quarterback round 1, because you have Mason. I think that was the plan all along. Well, like Mason and another veteran with Skylar Thompson and maybe possibly an undrafted rookie free agent or a bottom draft pick at quarterback. They usually what they do, unless they really love Dart, get him. But Ryan, to go back to your opinion, saying about like getting a quarterback later in the draft, Jalen Milroe was a 2nd round pick.
Oh yeah.
Russell Wilson was a 2nd, 3rd round pick. Joe Montana was a 3rd round pick, I believe. So you can.
Tom Brady was a 6th.
The 6th round pick. He's the extreme outlier, but you can get guys in this era.
Even getting Joe Montana in the 3rd is pretty.
I know. And Russell Wilson was a 2nd, 3rd round pick. So you can find quarterbacks that you can win you a Super Bowl in those 2nd, 3rd rounds. So I'm not opposed to wait until the 3rd round to draft a quarterback. Now they're going to have more than a year of development.
Seems on the board, Mike, that a lot of people were kind of leaning in the favor that they could do a Rudy season. And if that's the case, do we do a season with Mason Rudolph under center? Do we give this guy his chance? Yeah. The guy came in and won 3 games, albeit already in a decent position. We hit a 3-game losing streak, but he came in and won the games that needed to get into the playoffs 2 seasons ago. People, like I said on the board, Mike, I see Roger. Good morning to you, my friend, and 007. They seem to be okay with a Rudy type season. I take Jackson Dart. That's just me. I place him behind Rudy this year. I let Rudy play a 17-game season. I see what I get out of Rudy. I let Jackson Dart again if he's still there. That's that's an if.
It's one of my things.
And I would also let him stand behind and let him, be the second the second string quarterback. Learn a little bit. Again, I mean, it's Rudy is in front of you, but at the end of the day, if Jackson Dart is ready to play by the end of this season, maybe going into next season, and then you might have your starter, Mike, I don't think that that's the worst situation in the world. Again, what we're dealing with, it's kind of par for the course, where we have been anyway.
Exactly. And
If we're going D-line, Mike, they better trade back. That's all I gotta say.
if Walter Nolan's sitting there at 21, he's a top 10 rated prospect. Do you take him?
I don't.
I don't, because I want a second. I want that second back.
Fair enough.
I go offense. I cannot go defense. I cannot, on the highest paid defense in the league, go defense with my number one pick. I just can't. I can't. We have too many big needs, Mike. As far as a guy who's going to touch the ball every single play is way more important. It's a guy that's going to make 3 plays on the defensive line. That's just my opinion. But we do have to get back to some of these messages, Mike. We'll get more into that in just a second. Tortilla Jackson says, "What's up? Good morning, my friend. Hope everything's well out in California and you're ready for the draft, baby." Mark Malone says, "It just makes sense at the two dumb Yinzers." You know what? A lot of times I don't make sense, and a lot of times we don't make sense. And it's right here. Anytime that we don't or say something stupid, I just point at the side and say, "You know what? Don't." That's my dumb opinion. Tortilla says, "I would like to get one of the 3rd or 4th round DTs, but I'll understand if we take one of those." See, that's what I'm saying. You can get somebody pretty good in the 3rd round. You can get somebody damn good in the 3rd round as far as a defensive tackle. I mean, unless you're getting the biggest name on the defensive line, I don't think that you go with that at 21. But again, that's my opinion, guys. I'd like to see, but I'll understand if we take one in round 1. We've gone offense with the last 5 first picks. You're right. We sure have. Up to Mark Malone. Mark Malone says another thing the DL Scarlet wearers don't take into account. If we actually score points, teams won't be trying to run on us. Exactly. If we score points, people will not be trying to run on us as much. Therefore, the defensive lineman becomes a little less unimportant. But again, I'd rather have the guy that touches the ball every play. I mean, a defensive lineman, he could go through the game without getting putting a number up. We need it. Don't get me wrong. Larry Ogunjobi gone. Keanu Benton under performing, but at the end of the day, I think the need on offense is a lot more. The highest paid defense in the league, again, the lowest paid offense. Adam Garrett says, good morning, good afternoon to you, Adam. Welcome to the show. Why is adding to the offensive line not a bigger priority? I think the problem with that is that we've drafted offensive line big the last 3 rounds, or last 3 seasons. I'm sorry, with Broderick Jones, with Fatanu, with Frazier, McCollum, McCormick. I'm sorry. Yep. And even some of the guys that, Spencer Anderson was a draft pick who's, back up these guys like this. I can't see for 4 years in a row attacking that high, trying to get an offensive line. Do we need it? Yes. Do we need someone to protect our quarterback? Yes. Do we need somebody to open holes for the running backs? Yes. But at the end of the day, guys, we have no skill positions. Let me just throw out a couple of things. At the end of this season, it could be very possible that George Pickens is gone. The fact if we pay him in DK like this, pay Chase and Higgins,
our defense is screwed.
We have no money for anything else. So yes, I'm saying that they pay a lot on defense and not much on offense. Maybe pay more on offense, but you got to be smart too. So let's see where we at here. So offensive line, I certainly maybe in a later round just for depth. But we have so much that we need right now. We really do. I think, again, you can't miss on this number 1 pick tonight if you were the Steelers. Richard says, go with Mason. He has the chemistry with the team. If you can pick up a late-round quarterback that turns into something great. Mark Malone goes on to say, but DL might be BPA, like kind of like Najee was. Mark Malone still saying 4,200 yards and 35 touchdowns. Sounds all right by him. I think that's on the Mason Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, what's up, man? He says, happy draft day, all. Richard says, I'd love to see the Steelers pick up a new bus. Boy, would that be nice, huh? And then Tortilla says, if we take Dart in the 1st round, he still wouldn't even play. Only a few offensive players we could take that would actually impact us this year. I agree. We need to strengthen our offense unless we take Golden, Hampton, or Shador, maybe offensive line. Also said by Tortilla. Guys, I just want to throw a couple comments out there that was made about Tortilla Jackson, about George Pickens. Go ahead, Derpy. I'm sorry.
I have something. Just
Yeah.
Dov Clement. He just said that the Giants are now the favorite betting odds to get Jackson Dart. So
All right, there you go, guys. I mean, we have 8 hours. It's going to be here soon enough. The rumors will eventually stop, and we will know nothing but facts. But guys, as of right now, let me. So it's about Shedeur Sanders. Some comments that I got about Shedeur Sanders. Mike Tomlin comes out and says this: there's a toughness there that doesn't get talked about enough. The intangible qualities displayed on tape were very impressive to me. That's what Mike Tomlin had said about Shedeur Sanders. And this is a comment made by Merrill Hodge. Merrill Hodge blasts Sanders' IQ, calls him a move that would set the franchise back years, which, I mean, it's possible. As we said earlier, if you don't hit on this, Mike, while taking a quarterback, we've seen what happened just 3 years ago. I mean, this could, again, just kick this can down the road even further, or, maybe
take a running back.
If you get a quarterback, play him behind Mason, let Mason play again. I mean, he should, with that quarterback room, he should in fact be the starter, at least early.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Who knows? Maybe you bomb. Maybe next year you might have a better quarterback that you have your eyes on. Maybe, and then you have a Jackson Dart, and let's just say an Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Which again, I mean, who knows what the chance of that actually happening are. But Mike, I personally, and again, like they're saying, I mean, this person's not going to even see the field this year.
Yeah.
And we need impact. We need people that are going to be playing. So again, that's not wrong either. We do need players that are going to be playing in order to help this team. But ultimately, at some point, we have to get a one. We have to get a quarterback.
You have to, and if we're worried about someone's going to hit or not in the first round, we keep saying we need a quarterback. You just go, whoever you think the best quarterback is, go and get them. And because if you don't. You will never, if you don't pull the trigger on one of these guys, if you think one of them's your guy in the first round, you're never going to know if you're right or not. If they fail, okay, move on, but keep building the team around them. That's the thing, and that's what they've been doing through draft and free agency, is building the team around the quarterback, and then just keep plugging in a quarterback. So maybe this is the year they reach on for a quarterback in round one, whether it be Sanders or Dart. And like we said, the worst thing that happens is, okay, we find out they don't work. Okay, we'll go draft another one. We're right back in the same spot that we were. We keep saying we have to find the guy, but we can't be afraid to draft someone because they might fail. We can't be afraid to draft someone because they might fail. Big Ben was a risk at 11, coming from a smaller school. The thing with him was like, oh, he's going to have to sit for a year or two to polish to become an NFL quarterback. Well, it turned out, no, he can play that style of quarterback and be successful in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers sat for a year and a half, 2 years. Oh, nice. Patrick Mahomes sat for a year. So and there were negative reports about Mahomes saying, oh, he's never played under center. He's a one-read quarterback. Oh, he's coming from this air raid offense. He's never going to be any good. Well, it turns out he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time in a short amount of time. So I tend not to listen to all the BS that comes out about prospects and just watch the tape. And then if traits translate to the NFL, you take the guy and make it work.
I think we need a big thing to happen this year. And somebody hit it on the head. If you just give me a second to find where they went. Richard said this. He said, hopefully Roman Wilson turns into a wide receiver. You know what? I would love to see Roman Wilson come along this year and really fill a position. And to the point where you just have no doubt. Like, okay, we got George, we got DK, we got Roman, we got Calvin, and we're ready to roll. I think that's a big part of this offense moving forward. We just can't afford to have a guy in a skill position that we drafted to play that position be unavailable anymore. I mean, if he gets injured, he gets injured. But come on, going through a whole season without that guy, I mean, the guy should have been getting more reps, perhaps. But he plays a big role in how this thing moves forward, Mike. Luckily, we should have the crew together though with GP and DK and all these guys, Mike. But one more thing before I do pass it over to you, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders' Mount Rushmore when he was asked about who the biggest quarterback wide receiver duo in our Mount Rushmore would be, and what did Shedeur Sanders say, Mike?
Whoever's throwing the ball to DK and George.
So
He said Malik Neighbors and someone else. He named all three
Yeah,
teams.
right.
That's smart. That's savvy right there.
Sounds
That's good.
almost too smart, but all
That's
right.
good. That's good media training right there.
Exactly. That's the point
Exactly.
I was making. Guys,
we shit on them when they do it, and we shit on them when they don't.
oh, we should. That's what we do.
I know. That's why I love it, baby.
Let's get to these comparisons, Mike. This is 2025 NFL Draft QB comparisons to other quarterbacks in the league. Mike, this is what it looks like according to this list. People were saying that Will Howard would be comparable to Bo Nix. Will Howard comparable to Bo Nix. Shador Sanders on this list says that he would be comparable to Geno Smith. Jackson Dart comparable to Zach Wilson.
Oh,
Zach Wilson.
oh,
Jalen Milroe comparable to Anthony Richardson.
That's our Cam.
Is it?
yeah.
Cam Hayward or Cam Ward. I'm sorry, he gets compared to Jordan Love. Cam Ward, Jordan Love. Tyler Shuck is compared to Jacoby Brissett. Quinn Ewers is compared to Sam Darnold.
Really?
And Kyle McCord comparable to Kirk Cousins.
There we go. For all the people who want us to get Kirk Cousins, we'll just draft
Kyle McCord.
Just
Kyle McCord in the fifth.
Yeah,
round.
we'll get him. We'll get him. Yeah,
we'll get him younger and cheaper, baby.
Right.
Younger and cheaper. Like, oh, that Jackson Dart comparison kind of scares me.
I like Zach. Well, listen, he wasn't quite groomed right either. I still think he's a good quarterback.
I know. I think Zach Wilson was just drafted off that. When he threw that ball 50 yards from his knees, team started drooling over that arm strength. But I do like what the way Jackson Dart plays on film. He has a lot of traits that carry over.
Let's get back on the board. Right here. Mark Malone says, I'm glad they brought back McCollum. That dude came off the bench and played. So absolutely.
He did. He was a beast.
I mean, to come in as a rookie that wasn't expected to play and really handled his business on the line. Giants live there. Yeah, they do. There's no doubt about it. Historically, they use the black quarterback the least out of every team.
They need one to balance out the Winston and Russ.
Mark Malone says, I floated this earlier today. Mason might be growing that goatee with plans of shaving a Magnum Malone like stash later in the year.
Oh shit.
He is. He's looking. He has a different look now. Tennessee changed that man.
He looks like a different human being.
Adam Garrett says Sanders isn't the most talented, but he is the most ready, in my opinion. He is matured beyond his years.
The last time I heard the most pro-ready quarterback was Kenny Pickett. I'm having flashbacks.
Roger says we keep thinking we missed on Pickett, but Pickett won it out when he learned the rust was coming. 007, Aaron Rodgers reminds me of these brides that leave the groom waiting on the altar on wedding day. Ha ha ha! What about? I'm done with him. He's done, in my opinion. Tortilla says I won't be mad at all if we take a quarterback in the first round, as long as it's Shador or Dart. Maybe Milroe. I like him as a go big or go home pick. Adam says everything said about Sanders. I'm all for letting Mason have this year and drafting a quarterback next season. I witnessed a Christmas miracle in person. Yes, it's true.
Oh, you lucky bastard.
Tortilla Jackson. I don't know if you guys already addressed it, but Shador Sanders was asked who his favorite three is QB. Yeah. Yes. And his third his duo was DK and GP, as he says. We may have a chance in him. Oh shit! How about that timing? It was good timing. And then also Tortilla does go on to say, I compare Ewers to Zach Wilson and Dart to Carr, which I never really hated Carr, but. So there you go, guys. We're all caught up on the board. Mike, Derpy, guys, everybody on the board. The draft is finally here. The very next time we all see one another, we're going to have a new player. It's going to be a big player that we're going to be talking about for years. No two ways about that.
Yeah.
Being a number one draft pick, whether it be your quarterback, whether it be a defensive tackle, whatever it may be, guys, tonight is the night. It is Christmas for us here in Pittsburgh. Love the draft. Would love to see. And as I said, Mike, dropping the ball, laying an egg, if you will, this round is not going to be a good feeling because, again, no number two pick. Our very next pick is the late pick tomorrow, and then a bunch of 4 through 7s on Saturday. How, Derpy, Mike, this is big. This is big for a team that needs a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We cannot afford to whiff, can we? I mean,
No.
Nope.
This draft, you more or less have to hit on rounds 1, 3, and 4, like, and that's going to be tough to do. I
should be a
trust
grim
him or
luck shot,
Con. I trust Weedle, but man, that's a lot of pressure. And are they going to succumb to the pressure and reach on guys, or are they just going to stay true to their quote unquote their board where they have guys rated and team needs and hierarchy of needs and blah blah blah, and just make smart picks. In the past couple drafts, man, they've taken guys later in the draft that you're like, why would you take them? And then boom, you're seeing that there's became starters or became key players right away. So I trust them, but man, that's a lot of pressure this year. But hey, that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Guys, this is a list right now. This is a list. How often each franchise drafts a Hall of Famer? You guys want to hear this? How often each franchise drafts a Hall of Famer? Franchises age divided by. Okay, so here we go. Every 5.08 years. Now, this is the most frequent that a team drafts a Hall of Famer. It's actually the Raiders. 5.08 years.
Wow.
But right behind them, guys, at 5.12. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
So we're overdue.
Yes, right behind them, guys. The Cowboys, the Rams, and the Bears. I think the Bears got like 100 fucking people in there because they've been around since the 1200s.
Right.
The Rams next. I'm sorry, the Rams, the Bears, then the Colts, then the Browns. What the hell happens to all them players?
Right? I'm trying to think.
49ers, Eagles, Chiefs, Patriots, Packers, Lions, Titans, Buccaneers, Vikings round out the first half of the league. This is how often, Mike. And those are all, I'm sorry, the first 5 are within 5 years. The second 5 are within 6 to 7 years, all the way down to 9 years. So the second half of the list, Buffalo, Miami, Seattle, the Baltimore Ravens, every 10 years. Every 10 years, they draft a Hall of Famer.
Damn.
The Commanders every 10.4 years, Broncos, Chargers, Cardinals, Jets, Saints every 19.7 years, they draft a Hall of Famer. And the last 5 teams, Mike, are really comical because the next team is the Falcons. Every 20 years, the Falcons draft a Hall of Famer. The Texans do it every 24 years. The Bengals do it every 29 years. That should change, in the future here. Mike, the last 2 teams on the list are the 2 teams that came in the exact same year.
Yeah.
The Jaguars and the Panthers both draft a Hall of Fame player every 31 years.
That's bad. We're overdue by a couple drafts to have a player that's going to show Hall of Fame potential.
Yeah, no 2 ways about that. I'd like to see a Hall of Famer get picked tonight, Mike. We will see with the draft coming, but you know what? Those are again, spoiled are we? Maybe. But at the end of the day, right now, say what you want. I hear people saying, "Well, you expect it? You want the Steelers to win all the time?" Well, yeah. And if you don't want your team to win all the time, you're stupid. You might not even like the team. Yes, I want my team to win every time I sit down and watch them. Yes. And you know what? When Ben was here, that was a possibility every week for almost 2 decades. So, yes, we are spoiled. Yes, we've been there. Yes, we've done that. And, yes, we want to get back to that. So, are we spoiled? Yeah. And here's the thing as well. I mean, 8 years without a playoff win in between your 3 sports, your 3 major pro teams in your city. I mean, we're getting kind of hungry here. We're getting thirsty, if you will. Mike, the Pirates, the Steelers, the Penguins, 8 years. Nobody advances in the playoffs out of the first round.
That's unheard of from Pittsburgh.
It's crazy. I mean, not even for Pittsburgh, unless you're a schlub city who has got nothing. That's that's pretty shitty, dude.
Well, it's just the timing for the both marquee franchises to hit a down cycle at the same time. That's unheard of in Pittsburgh. Because normally,
when is it over? Because it's been going on for almost a decade. I mean, is this?
I know, right?
I'm going to end.
No, it's not going to end.
Because Mike, this is the longest period of time in the Steelers franchise, at least from the Super Bowl, when the Super Bowl eras began, that we haven't won a playoff game. This is the longest period of time in between playoff wins. And I don't want to say that we're spoiled because we're Steeler fans. We believe we deserve more. No, I believe it's been a decade since we won a game. That's why I think that we're due. Mike, a lot of picks going into this draft. I'm looking at the list right now. The Baltimore Ravens, they have 11 picks.
Yeah.
I know they had some compensatory picks, which helped Mike, but they have 11. The 49ers also have 11 draft picks.
Lord.
These teams have 10. The Dolphins, the Browns, the Chargers, the Bills, the Cowboys, and the Seahawks all have 10 picks in this draft. The following 3 teams have 9 picks. The Raiders, the Saints, and the Patriots. Or the Panthers and the Patriots, sorry. The Rams, these teams all have 8 picks. The Rams, the Chiefs, the Packers, the Titans, the Jets, the Giants, and the Eagles, Mike, they managed to still have, they have 8 picks. I mean, this team has become a franchise juggernaut. I mean, a draft juggernaut, I'm sorry. Yeah. Mike, and then the teams with 7 picks are, which is totally normal because there's 7 rounds.
Yeah.
The Lions, Colts, Texans, Bears, Broncos, and that's it. The teams with 6 are the Bengals, the Steelers, the Cardinals, the Buccaneers, the Commanders and Falcons both have 5 picks in this year's draft, and the Minnesota Vikings with 4, just 4 picks in a 7-round draft. They have a nice team, and I think that the Vikings are going to be okay. But you'd like to have more than 4 draft picks. Like they have 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, and 1 in the 6th.
That's oof.
And I just want to throw out there, Mike, another note: the Ravens, out of their 11 draft picks, 4 of them come in the 6th round.
Oh, that's a lot of compensatory picks right there.
Absolutely.
That's a lot.
Tortilla with the comment of the day.
What's that?
If Pitt don't win soon, it's going to turn into Gotham.
Right. We're going to need Batman to come back. It's not Bane this time. It's something. Let's see. Yinzer Joe says, have you guys ever heard of Cliff Stout? Yes, of course. I guess he's 6'5" and runs the 40, 4.6. His dad actually played for the Steelers in the 80s, of course. Yes, he did. Well, yeah, how you doing today, Yinzer Joe? Nice seeing you, brother. Tortilla Jackson says that means we're due for Hall of Famer. I agree. Mike and you and everybody agrees on that. We are due for a Hall of Famer. Mark Malone. I'm going to be the one crying if we draft Sanders. Yeah, you weren't on the Sanders roller coaster this year. I do know that. And also, Carl, good morning and welcome, or good afternoon, and welcome to the show. Of course, Pickens unfollowed the Steelers today, so he's definitely getting traded. I don't think that's. I'm going to be honest, Carl. I don't think he's going to get traded tonight. It almost seems counterproductive in a way. Again, we're trying to build and do something with this offense. I think next year there's a very good chance that he gets traded or whatever. Something's going to happen after this season. But I think they're going to run it with DK and GP. And like I said, going on what happens tonight in this draft and just the quarterback situation is going to say a lot how that's going to turn out. But me personally, I mean, if you want to come back tomorrow after results, we'll talk about it. But I don't think the GP leaves Pittsburgh tonight. Of course, you are seeing a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors swirling, but that's pretty par for the course for this time of year, right, Mike?
Yeah. For players to do stuff like that, yeah. And George Pickens does shit like that all the time. That's why we love George.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if we get another season out of him, I'd love to see what these two guys can do. I'd love to see what these two guys will be able to do.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, I seen a list that said this is the possibilities for the Steelers starting quarterback for opening day here in 2025. This short list includes Rudy, Aaron Rodgers, which I think is done. I'm done. He's done. I don't think he'll be here. Shador Sanders, Jackson Dart, Kirk Cousins, and Jalen Milroe. Mike, those 6 names, most believe one of them will be our starting quarterback come this fall.
I think it's going to come down to either Aaron Rodgers or Mason Rudolph. They're not going to start a rookie quarterback. Even if they draft them, they're not starting right away.
Let me ask you this: what if we do draft, let's say Shador or Jackson or whoever, and Mason Rudolph goes out and gets his bell rung? I mean, this dude, he's had a bizarre career. Let me put it to you that way. Bizarre things have happened to him. Mm-hmm. Nobody, how many players in the history of the NFL has had his helmet torn off by another man, taken and beaten over the head with it? You know what I mean? There's just certain people that weird shit happens to. You can't explain it. But he's had a very bizarre career. He gets his bell rung. He has a concussion issues through the 2025 season. And then you're going to be able to obviously get a chance to look at that rookie. I don't want that to happen. I'd like the guy to ferment a little bit back there, learn what he's doing, and catch up with the league. But Mike, I mean, it's always a possibility. And the way things have gone for the Steelers over the past almost a decade, it wouldn't surprise me if something shitty like this would happen.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. And then, who's going to go in? A rookie, Skylar Thompson.
Right.
And hey, that's a good thing. If we get a rookie, you can find out, do they have it or not? This will help their development along. And, we shit the bed. We can get a better draft pick next year. Everything's coming up roses. They're like, shit. A majority of the fan base has been clamoring not only for playoff wins, but to get our franchise quarterback and not have to reach on someone. What better way to do it than lose a shit ton of games and draft in the top 10?
You know what? It happens.
I'm okay with either way, winning a playoff game, being competitive year in and year out, or tanking to get a franchise quarterback. Sign me up for all three options.
Yeah. Oh, you know what, guys? It's whatever. The answer is, it's right around the corner. There's no more saying, "Oh man, we got a month till the draft."
No,
there's 11 days to the draft, guys. We have a week to the draft. This time tomorrow, we're gonna have an answer. We're gonna have an answer for the first time in a long time. We're gonna have an answer,
unless we trade out of the first round.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, if you can
Isn't
get
a bad option,
get a second, a third, and something else, that's an option we haven't talked about. Get multiple draft picks, trade out of the first round. It's not possible. Ideal. It's not ideal, but if you can get more players and still fill with the needs you need with guys that are could be potential starters this year or next year, do you go ahead and do something like that?
Let's see. Let's go back on the board here. Mike Yinzers, Khan, and Tomlin said more than 2 times that Pickens isn't being traded. They want him and DK on the same roster. Yeah, I think that we're going to get a taste of the GP and DK this year.
I can't wait.
Richard says drama George. Absolutely. I don't think the Steelers are concerned about getting a quarterback in this draft. I feel they're going to get a free agent along with Rodgers to get them through the season. It almost seems like we're cutting really close with Aaron Rodgers. I'm starting to get indication. I'm starting to believe from just things I'm reading that we're losing interest, and we're getting to the point where we're going to make a move without Aaron Rodgers. And at this point, it almost seems like we're just we all want him to come here because at one time, he's Hall of Famer. No two ways about it. At one time, he's won multiple MVPs in the league, and we just want to see somebody able to whip the ball around to George Pickens and DK. And I get that, I really do. But at the end of the day, is this guy, is Aaron Rodgers the piece that we want, or would we be better off going with somebody who's in house like Mason Rudolph, who again, he hasn't had the MVP career, but are we expecting? Can we realistically expect Aaron Rodgers to come in and take us on a Super Bowl run? That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's so. What's that, Derpy?
Not at this state of his career.
Exactly right. So why are we so hell bent on Aaron Rodgers? The people that do continue to go on and on. They want him here. They think he'll be here. I'm kind of over him. I want to send him to retirement. That's just me personally. But realistically, what do we expect? We want him here because he's good. Yeah, he was good.
Maybe teach the younger quarterback, maybe.
But that's a lot of money you got to spend. I guess he doesn't want a lot of money.
Like 10 mil.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's a lot of money to be a tutor. But you know what? For that money that he was talking, that's actually not that bad. $10 million. Let's see. Caleb, what's up, brother? Caleb says, hot takes. Steelers move up to draft Shaq, number 1 overall. First draft, number 1 draft in the 1992 NBA draft. Shaquille O'Neal from Louisiana State University. I remember clearly, clear as day. It was I was a Magic guy. Steelers need a big generational big man in the coach.
Hey, we can put him and Mount Washington out there in the red zone and not throw to him.
You know what? They passed on Christian Laettner and Alonzo Mourning in the NBA, so we'll, we have to get the right big guy in place.
Yeah, we got to get the right big man.
Yinzers says if It could even be Kirk Cousins after the draft or trade. You're right. And again, his name is scaring me because it's been coming up more and more often. So I don't know what to put it under. I don't know if it's just the draft time BS.
The only thing I would trade for Kirk Cousins is a bag full of pubic hair. Like, here, take this and give us him, and you keep his salary. I don't know. No, if we want to, we're gonna with him, we're gonna finish the same spot in the same cycle, and it's gonna be Russell Wilson 2.0 with Kirk Cousins.
Mike, I know you're not back into shipping people boxes of your pubes again, because that was really effed up, and we had a big talk about that. So pull yourself together.
Hey. They said they wanted something from me, and that's what I gave them. They didn't specify.
Let's see. I'm just looking here at the top Steeler stories on the internet, Mike, as of 2 hours ago. Sports Illustrated, Pittsburgh Steelers reveals most likely trade draft days, likely draft trades, Mike. A lot of talk about the draft. You guys are talking that some of you would rather get out of this round, maybe, trade that pick. And that's a lot of talk. Mike, realistically, did the Steelers draft out of trade out of the first round tonight? Their only pick of the night. Do they go into this round and say, you know what, give us an extra of this or whatever and give up their third? Realistically, what's the chances?
I don't see out of the first round. I can see to the bottom of the third round, like Buffalo, KC, Philly.
Bottom of the first round?
Bottom of the first round. Not KC. The KC doesn't have a second, I don't believe, but like Buffalo or Philly getting their first and second this year, maybe even a tack on a lower pick too. That way the Steelers are still picking in the first round, still having the fifth-year option on whoever they get. I don't see Pittsburgh dropping out of the first round. But I can see them dropping down into late 20s and 30.
Yeah. What about you, Derpy? What do you think? What's the chances the Steelers they trade around tonight?
I'm hoping they trade out.
Out completely?
Not completely. Just would at least just down, just to get a second round pick, because even I don't want a defensive lineman. Just one. You know what I mean? Just I don't want to address the defensive ball in the first round as many other fans want, but I think the smart move would be to trade down and acquire more picks.
Here's what's going to happen. Here's my prediction.
Okay.
I'm looking at my crystal ball right now as we speak.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
And this is what I see. Crystal ball, tell me what's going to happen in the draft tonight for the Steelers. All right, so this is what they're going to do. This is what the ball is telling me. They're going to take this. This is my ball. If you disagree with my ball, I don't know what to tell you. My ball's telling you that. Listen to my balls talk. This is what we need. This is what we're going to get. I think we get Jackson Dart in the first round. That's what my ball is telling me. And then things that we do need in the draft: we need a quarterback, we need defensive lineman, we need a running back, we need a wide receiver. Perhaps. I mean, again, we really, if we're going to think of the future and get back in this, the process ship of doing things right. Maybe getting a decent wide receiver this year might not be the worst idea, knowing that George Pickens is probably not going to get paid what he wants after the season. Also, guys, we need a safety, and we need some additional linemen on the offense and defensive side of the ball as far as depth goes. That is what my crystal ball is telling me. My crystal ball is telling me we're going to Jackson Dart in the first round, and then the rest of the way we're looking at defensive linemen, running backs, wide receivers, and then a few of those other players that are that are for depth. Mike, that is what my crystal ball was telling me. How are you feeling about the draft? How is it going to play out in your opinion?
My opinion,
It's rough, Mike.
it is too, because it can go so many different ways.
This is like the first year. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, but I just have a feeling they're going either D-line, or if he's there, Hampton, the running back from Hampton, excuse me, the running back from North Carolina in round one. It's because they brought in a lot of defensive linemen, they had a decent amount of running backs, and Harmon's not going to be there in the third round. So I'm just going D-line or running back in round one. That's how I can see it going. And then I do think they'll get a wide receiver. later in the draft. And if they don't get a D-line early, they're going to get one, possibly two late in the draft.
Before I turn this over to Derpy, just remember, guys, there is going to be controversy if we do take that quarterback in the first round, because Mason Rudolph does wear number 2. Shedeur Sanders does wear number 2. Jackson Dart does wear number 2. If this is not the most too dumb Yinzer quarterback draft we may ever have, this is it, guys. All these number 2s, that's a lot of number 2, Mike.
That is a lot of number 2s. Maybe that's why, they let Justin Fields go, because they knew they were bringing Mason back, and they did not want the battles of the 2s. So on that logic right there, they're not taking Sanders or Jackson Dart. They will take someone else.
Oh, that's all we need, more controversy. Who's getting number 2?
I'd love to see them all fight for it.
Oh, and Dion and Dion's going to call in with his opinion.
Dude, it'd be like watching a baseball fight. Just a bunch of arms flailing around and no one connecting punches.
Maybe something like that. I don't know, but that's just pretty crazy. That's a lot of 2s, Mike. It's a lot of 2s. Let me get back to the board. There we go. Tortilla says, I wouldn't mind our quarterback sitting behind Rodgers, but someone made the point that it would probably be Mason teaching the rookie everything, and I sadly agreed. Richard agrees with you, Mike. Roger says you're devaluing pubic hair.
Hey, if I can get more from my pubic hair, let me know.
Yeah.
We'll start saving them.
Hey, before you know it, you keep this talk up, you're going to need insurance on it like Troy does with his hair.
Exactly. Hey, that's fine.
Caleb says, Ryan, we know you were in the unipuber in the 1990s. Also, Tortilla says, you guys got boxes. Mike only sent me a baggie. Yeah, he gets supply and demand.
Yeah, that's all I had at the time.
And then now he can't cheat and take it from the back of his hair because he's grown his skullet, so he can't even cheat you out and say that it's pubes and it's not.
I know.
Ryan's balls. That's right. My balls does speak facts, guys. That's what's going to happen. That's what we need. We have to address those things. The quarterback obviously should be our number one priority. It just should. It should. You have to have a quarterback. If not, all these other picks aren't going to matter. It's going to be the 80s still. And we're going to go through all the same problems we've gone through for years without a quarterback solution. So the quarterback or the defensive line, obviously, are the two that are just ringing out to me. Running backs, can we go with what we have? We can. We just haven't seen it yet. We just haven't seen Jaylen Warren, who did. Mike, what just went down with him the other day?
He signed that 1-year tender offer.
Yes, so he did get that signed. But that could be interesting, Mike, if we do go with just a Jaylen Warren workload again, a Gainwell third down back, and then have some schlubby your guy that spells Jalen, which we've had before. That situation certainly wouldn't be new to us. It would just be new to me to see Jalen playing in that situation because he's always had Najee right next to him. Mike, the wide receiver again. This is a smart pick in my opinion. It's not necessarily a great pick or a pick that's going to affect us immediately. I just think trying to address the issue with George Pickens on his way out the door is a smart, responsible move. If you could get a pretty good wide receiver, try to get a good wide receiver in this draft, Mike. And Roman Wilson, again, a lot comes off of what kind of season he has. And then if your 7th round pick is you're probably either going to be getting a safety or, as I said, some depth on the offensive defensive line. Maybe a guy from William and Mary who's the guys you get in the 7th round.
Yeah.
But that is my opinion, Mike. This is not by any means going to be a great draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is a need draft. You have to go in there and just kind of get the pieces that you need to have something in place. I don't by any means think this is going to be a great draft for the Steelers.
What do you mean? You don't think they're going to get any good players?
No, I'm saying this is not going to be a great draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm saying, listen, if we don't hit a home run tonight and we don't have a number 2 pick, your best player is going to be a 3rd round pick. That's not going to be a great draft, is what I'm saying. I think we're going to get the players that we need. We're going to get we're going to fill the holes that we absolutely need. I mean, we can't move forward without some of these positions. And I think that's going to be our draft. I just can't imagine. And, again, I mean, it would be crazy to even compare something to a 1974 type draft.
Oh yeah.
But Mike, I just think this has potential to not be a great draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. I understand now. Okay, I don't know. We don't have a second, but we were able to get.
But it's not a draft pick. If you're talking about this draft, when you're talking about this draft, and you look back, and you're going to look and you're going to say, okay, well, they traded, and just like as you look back at Minka and say, well, he was traded, blah blah blah. But you're going to look at the draft. Let's look at who we draft, and let's talk about those players.
Okay, I see what you're saying. We're on the same page now. Because for me, I take into account what we use that asset for to get, so.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the guys that were drafted.
Yeah, the guys you're getting, So, yeah, you really do have to.
I think the DK move was one of the biggest moves we've ever made.
Oh,
as far as free agency.
Yeah.
I mean, no two ways about it.
Yeah.
I think with the exception of a couple guys, Jerome Bettis and, guys like this.
That was a steal, yeah.
Yeah.
But, they do have, whoever they get in the first round, like, outside, if it's not a quarterback, they have to start immediately. There's none of this, we got to ease them into the lineup. Like, no, we're throwing them ahead first into the deep end. Hey, because we need you and you got to play.
Which I think is not always a bad idea. I think doing that a lot of time is a good look how it happened for our offensive line last year.
Yeah.
For those two rookies in, they did fantastic.
Just go. Figure it out as you go.
Tomlin just has that in him where he has to give everybody all the time in the world. Sometimes a season, it seems, but
and sometimes too, I think it's manufactured to create competition to see how they react, how they, both players or three players competing for a spot are going to react to it. Okay. So, because you don't know these guys, how they act. You draft them, you go through the whole interview process. You don't know how they handle practice until you actually get them there on day one. So I understand a philosophy of to not name someone an immediate starter because you want to see how are they going to react to this adversity. Because most of these guys have had everything given to them. Yeah, they work hard, but they're still, you're going to be our number one guy in high school. You're going to be our number one guy in college. Coming to the pros, they think that too. Like, no, let's add a little competition. Let's see how you handle adversity, even if it is manufactured.
I think you have to treat different players differently, and I think that Tomlin just generally has that. He likes to give you as much time as possible. Whenever there's other teams that do the total opposite and are very successful with that route. That's just one thing. And the thing is, it always seems like such an important position when he does that. So. I don't know, Mike. There's still so much to on this team that I'm hoping works out moving forward. Again, Roman Wilson, huge. Cole Holcomb, Mike. Even this guy.
Yeah.
For some reason, they have so much hope. And me, after 3 seasons of the guy not playing a down and just dealing with injuries and the injuries in Washington and just everything at this point, I'm not sold on him. But at this point, Mike, this is what we have. This is going to be our linebacker room. We're not touching the linebacker room in this draft, especially in the inside. So I mean, there's certainly some players, Mike, that I think that still have to come along and do it rather quickly at this point. Roman Wilson being one, he has to come out and do something this year. Because where are we sitting at next year, Mike, when we're looking at George leaving an underproductive Roman Wilson, a shitload of money going to DK, and I think Calvin Austin's contract is up at
his contract's up too. Yeah.
So again, I think it's the most responsible thing to get a wide receiver at some point in this draft, just to kind of like we were talking about quarterbacks, you and I the other day, Mike, off the air. You kind of got to get back in that rhythm that works.
Yeah.
There's a pattern. It's not 100%, but it works. Getting younger guys, letting them sit behind guys, and with Tomlin the way that he likes to, that would be the ideal situation. Not wait till George Pickens is gone. If you wait till George Pickens is gone, and then go draft a guy, then it's a different dynamic. If you have somebody coming in, playing in the offense, playing with George, playing with the quarterback, DK, whatever. So again, that's my opinion, Mike. Let me jump and grab some of these messages, and then we will get back to some more draft talk. Anyone want a Ben Barch protein shake? Caleb is saying on the board. Also, Richard says, I didn't think that this was going to be the draft. We were going to be looking back at saying this is the draft that made us a Super Bowl team too. And now you're right. I hope you're wrong as well, Richard. But it's the same with me. I'm just getting a vibe, man. Who knows? Shedeur Sanders might be a Steeler tonight. And if Shedeur Sanders is a Steeler, that makes things really interesting, I think. Especially, come season time. It's going to be interesting, guys.
Oh, I just looked up the Ben Bart's protein shake. 7 scrambled eggs, big tub of cottage cheese, quick grits, peanut butter, banana, and Gatorade. Oh my
Fire.
God.
That sounds fire.
It's a lot of protein, man.
Holy shit. That sounds disgusting.
I just had a
That
heart
sounds
attack.
fire. That sounds fire.
God damn. All I can picture after drinking a shit ton of those is running around like Cartman. Beefcake! Beefcake!
I'm thinking of scrambled eggs and Gatorade being mixed together, and grits, and what else?
Yeah, quick grits. No,
Oh, wait,
you
never
can tell
mind.
he's not a self-respecting Southerner. No Southerner uses instant grits.
I seen something the other day, shrimp and grits.
Oh,
Oh, that sounds so good. It's like a big thing in South Carolina, apparently.
That does sound good.
Tortilla says, in my opinion, the Steelers thought one of their main problems last year was our linebackers. They got a new linebacker coach, let Roberts go, brought in Harrison, investing in Cole Holcomb again. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of Cole Holcomb. I like Landon Roberts. He was solid, good veteran. He's been around. He's won a Super Bowl. So I didn't have any problem with him. Roberts was elite for us. He was. For us. It was. He was a very, very solid player in the middle. I would love to have him back for another year. I think where do you go out to Vegas? They'll be very happy, I believe, with their linebacker they're getting. May 14th, guys. May 14th. So roughly less than a month from now, about 3 weeks, give or take, the NFL schedule is usually released right around that time, Mike. So the projections is going to be May 14th as of right now, the NFL schedule. So after the draft today, Mike, again, you do have some OTAs going on, but after the draft starts today and through the weekend, the schedule being released here in probably about 3.5 weeks. So that's going to be a big thing as well, Mike. We could take a look at the schedule. We could dissect the schedule and then again, kind of do what we did last week.
Yeah.
But knowing when and where and everything. So
and have a better understanding too of each team's rosters, a little out.
Absolutely.
It'll be more fleshed out a little bit since the draft's over and free agency has been well underway. Yeah, I can't wait for that.
I can't agree more. Also, Mike, this year the Steelers will be one of 4 teams featured in a Hasbro Transformers collaboration with a unique toy. Apparently, that's a Transformer. I don't know the extent of the story, but I seen the picture, and the picture they did use was a Pittsburgh Steelers Transformer. So there you go. If you like toys, derpy, and all that kind of nerd stuff, the Steelers will be one of 4 teams featured in a Hasbro Transformer collaboration.
A derpy, get one.
no.
You could. He said no.
He said no emphatically too.
He spent all his money on his sword up at the Comic-Con.
Yeah, I did.
Mark Malone said there's not as much protein in eggs as you think. Caleb says, I'm getting Mike a Ben Bart's protein shake birthday cake this year. Think of how glossy it will make your skull. Very true, Mike. Don't forget, tonight you can tune in to watch the guys live stream the draft right here on the 2 Dumb Yinzers YouTube channel network. Tonight, Mike, when the draft starts, Mike Derpy will be live right here giving their play-by-play live take as the draft is going on, as the Steelers get ready to draft number 21 overall tonight in the 2025 draft in Wisconsin. So do tune back in tonight as the draft starts to see the guys hang out. Don't forget, you can jump on the board, give your opinion, your take on every pick. Do stop by, hang out. The guys will love to see you. They'll love to see you stop by.
Oh yeah. And last year, pick 21 happened at 10:38 p.m.
There you go.
FYI. I will be slightly inebriated by then. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Derpy's also going to be in the house. You ready for the big? How am I going to ask Derpy if he's ready? He's already texted about 19 times this morning.
I got my terrible towel going. Come on now, Brian.
He was telling me what he was wearing before the show, and I felt kind of violated.
Well, you know what? I've seen messages. We have a board, amongst everybody here on the show, a text
Group chat.
a group chat, if you will. And Derpy already first thing in the morning, guys, we still doing it, guys? Are we on tonight, guys? Is everything good, guys? Am I? So Derpy will, without a doubt, unless something falls from the sky and crushes him to death, will be there tonight. Mike will be there tonight as the draft kicks off right around 8:00. Again, do tune in, hang out with the guys tonight for the NFL draft.
I can't wait. Hopefully for the show it's Sanders because it'll be popping off. I can't wait.
Half the fan base will be satisfied. Half of it will be tearing down the city. Pretty much if it's Sanders.
I mean, it's going to be interesting, guys. It's just being a Steeler fan, just being a football fan for my entire life. It's just bizarre to think Shedeur Sanders could be the Steeler quarterback. But you know what? Crazier things have happened, and just maybe it's that time to turn the corner as a team and make that call before we might not have.
Yeah.
To stay up, keep up with the rest of the league. So it's hard to say. So tonight we'll have an answer, guys. It is about 7 hours. 7 hours from now, we'll be kicking off the 2025 NFL draft in Wisconsin. Richard says, "Go Steelers!" Have a great show tonight, Mike and Derpy. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be stopping by on the board to talk to the guys. And again, do stop by. They'll be here. They'll be drinking. They'll be watching the draft. It'll be a lot of fun to interact, I think, with the guys. So that'll be tonight here at 8:00, just right here. That's all you got to do is click back in, and the guys will be here. So we hope
this
to see
beautiful mug talking NFL
we hope
draft.
To see a lot of you there. Mike, let's get into a couple of these other things, and we will finish up with some draft talk. The Pirates are turning into one of the hottest teams. I can't be. The last 2 days, Mike, this team has had 29 hits in their last 2 games.
Wow.
29 hits to 7. They've given up 7. None of them were Paul Skeens or Keller starts.
Yeah.
Mike.
They play the Angels?
They're the Angels. They won 9-3, and they won 3-0. Mike, remember I was telling you their runners in scoring position has been improving.
Mm-hmm.
They went 7 for 17 with runners in scoring position the other night.
Wow.
3 hits by Tommy Pham, IKF, and Brian Reynolds. Mike, also a home run by Reynolds, and also Andrew McCutchen gets a home run. Mike, last night, O'Neal Cruz, another home run for O'Neal Cruz. He gets his 3-run home run. Or he scored 3 runs. I'm sorry. I don't know if he scored 3 runs. I know that he had a home run and we won 3-0. That's what I know. That's all I know.
Okay.
Also, Mike, every single player in the lineup had a hit last night for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Again, 29 hits in 2 games. Hopefully they're coming around. They're back at it for game 3 of 3 tonight. It starts at 9:29. Out in California against the Angels. Game 3, it's Carmen Majitsky coming in with his 1-3 record, taking on Tyler Anderson. That's tonight. So maybe if you're celebrating our draft pick, flip on over and watch the late Pirates as the draft rounds out. Maybe. But the big news, Mike, David Bednar's back, and he hasn't been bad.
That's good. He's paid handsomely enough to not bad. He should be more than not bad. Hey, we're still 5.5 games back. It's a game against the Angels. They're 11-12. They're 2 bad teams going at it. Of course, the Buccos look good.
Let's see. On the board, Caleb says Pirates had a consistent offense game plan since Grover Cleveland. Alexander was in office. But they are back in action tonight, guys. Game 3 after tonight, they do play the Dodgers. So still out in Los Angeles. Mike, in the Pittsburgh Penguins news, Dan Bylsma, the former Pittsburgh Penguins coach, gets canned after 1 season as a head coach of the Seattle Kraken. However, Ron Francis is getting promoted. So we do got some former Penguins moving around, some former Penguin stuff. Mike, are you following the playoffs at all? And since the NHL playoffs have started,
a little bit here and there, just seeing how certain teams are doing, but nothing in depth.
Nothing standing out.
Nothing standing out right now, though.
That's what happens when you expand leagues.
What's that, Derpy?
So that's what happens when you expand leagues. It gets boring.
Yeah. Hey, John.
Oh, there he is.
John, John, my friend, nice seeing you. We haven't seen you since the season ended. And this is what I miss from John. John says, I just got out of jail for soliciting a hooker. What did I miss?
Not much.
Not
Not much.
You know what? I just asked.
Welcome back.
I'm still a little freak. I just asked Mike about you the other day. I said, do you think we'll see John as we get closer to the draft? And we both agreed that we would. Welcome back, my friend. John.
That's a story.
I was gonna say, like, you don't have to go buying hookers. We got peaches. Derpy got a bunch of midgets that we can send out to you.
It is great to see you, though, John.
Yes.
Welcome back, my man. Well, glad to hear everything's going well. Hookers in jail. How bad can it be, right?
But hey, they didn't find the cocaine, so he got that going for him.
That's
He
true.
avoided some extra
Exactly.
charges. That's a professional right there.
And then maybe today, Mike, maybe since John is around, maybe get the Aunt Peaches song ready to go off the air today. So stick around, John, because the in-house AI band here at the Two Dumb Yinzers show has
Yeah,
been
Peaches.
creating some songs, and there's an Aunt Peaches song that we've been waiting. We just been waiting to release, and I think what better day than the day that the Steeler Freak is in the house. John, nice to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
A lot of things. What's that, Derpy?
Tortillas crying emojis.
So it is draft day, guys. Wisconsin. Let's see. Adam says people love the shrimp and grits here in Florida. I can't wait. I can't get down with it. I tried. You know what? I'm not a big grits guy, and I just seen it on a list the other day. It was like the list of like the most popular food per state, and I think South Carolina was grits with shrimp. I thought that sounds. I like shrimp. I mean, how bad can shrimp be? I mean, can grits be? Are they that bad?
I've had grits when I was down south, and
I did as a
some
kid
butter.
too.
You put butter on them. I think I put like a little bit of syrup on them, a little bit of sweetness, and they were good.
Oh, let me tell you something. Can I tell you something real quick, guys?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Speaking of grits, not liking it, being from the South, being from the North, blah 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 blah. I'm Greek. I'm supposed. I'm American, but you know what I mean. My blood is Greek. I got a gyro yesterday, and it was the worst gyro I've ever had.
Oh.
How do you mess up a gyro?
Yeah.
You take a pita, you slap some lamb meat on it, you throw some lettuce and tomatoes, and you give them, some sauce on it. It was the worst gyro ever, guys. The pita was hard. It was a hard pita. I mean, gyros aren't supposed to be hard.
No.
There was about 600 of these tiny onions cut real small, which again, I'm cool with onions, but there was about 1 million of them. That and the meat tasted like shit. Oh, and the side of the sauce that you get, it was more like a paste than a sauce. You know what? I do like those actually, Caleb. I do like the ones from Arby's. I don't get them often. I like a good gyro, but it was just I've never had a bad gyro. I mean, these were, Mike. I was not happy, and I got to be honest. The place that we got it is a place that I get food from often. So I was hurt more than anything, I think.
Chambray rice.
Caleb says I will not be watching the draft. My Jim Palmer poster's favorite stand-up comedian is in town. Who is that? Jim, Caleb. He also says shrimp is water bugs.
And it's damn good water bugs.
Shrimp fried rice. Caleb says, fun fact, cicadas and shrimps come from the same family. Ever had a land shrimp? Huh, interesting. Now you can get down with the tortilla. Now you can get down with that at Tortilla Jackson.
Shrimp fried rice.
Mark Malone says. Then he goes on to say they're not real great. So there you have it, guys. Draft night. Put on the board who you guys want to see first round. Throw it in there. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbYinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. After the show goes off the air, a little screen cap of my final mock draft will be up. I'm sure Mark Malone's going to love this one. We're double dipping at quarterback. I'm going to love it because I'm double dipping at D lineman. So check it out at the2dumbYinzers.com along with our merch store.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. A lot of cool things over there. Mike keeps it updated, and also there's a pretty cool merchandise section. I do know that Jen on the board. She always is going on and on about her new Derpy shirt. She got a Derpy Boom shirt, and she loves it. She's putting pictures up on Discord. Really comfortable. A lot of comfortable stuff over there. Let me get into a couple more of these questions here. Yinzer just his economy is hard on restaurants. Must have had a rat gyro. Maybe I might have had a rat gyro. And this will be the only time in my life I would say that. I usually just, I love my gyros. That was a nasty gyro burp. It was, and it wasn't a nasty gyro burp. It was a nasty gyro burp. You get it? No. Yinzer Joe says one of my favorite teriyaki places got busted for using pigeon meat a few years ago and haven't been back since.
A squab, baby. A squab.
John says they will take Rogers and Sanders and double the drama. Discount double drama.
Double drama, exactly.
Mark says pigeons ain't bad at the Caleb, and then he also says neither is Dove. Neither is Dove. He says that to Caleb as well. Mike, the question. Let's get to the question of the day. Put on your thinking cap. Everybody on the board. Everybody at home. Here we go. Mike, yesterday on the show, the question was about Pitt and Penn State.
Yeah.
Who had more draft picks all time? Mm-hmm. Penn State had 380 some. Pitt had 320 some. Mike, both of those teams fall in the top 20 in that particular statistic.
Really?
Yes. Now let me ask it. In the top 25, which one of those two teams, Mike? Both of these teams are in the top 25 in this category. Between Penn State and Pittsburgh, which one of those teams had more first-round draft picks? The question of the day.
Good one.
Between Pitt and Penn State, which one of these two teams had more first-round draft picks overall all time? All time. You got to remember both these schools go back a million years.
Wow.
So think that over, guys. Think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day right here on YouTube. All right, gentlemen, gals, everybody in between. Caleb says, I think Indiana University of Western Pennsylvania has the most draft picks. Tortillas saying Penn State. Question of the day. Between Penn State and Pitt, all time, which team has more first-round draft picks? Players being taken from their school in the first round of the draft. Derpy, I'm going to start with you.
Why are you going to put me on the spot like that?
Because you're
Not
funny.
up or shut up.
Because
Not up or shut up.
Because you're funnier when you're on the spot. Which school, Derpy? Which school was it? Was it Penn State or Pitt that has the most first round draft picks? And again, both of these teams are in the top 25 in this category. So I just want to put that out there. Both these teams are in the top 25 in this category. Which team has more first round draft picks? Penn State or Pitt, Derpy? What do you think?
Well, one is a mid-university. And the other...
Penn State's not mid.
Beg to differ.
All right.
I'm just busting your balls, Mike. I'm lagging. Hold on. I'm lagging. Hold on. I'll always go with Pitt, though.
Going with Pitt? All right.
Yeah.
Caleb, just hold on one moment on your question. Caleb always has a good question.
There we go. I'm back. Sorry about that. Internet connection lost.
Yeah.
So Derpy went Pitt. Mike, I'm going to come over to you.
Sorry.
All right. So Pitt. Okay. So Derpy picked Pitt. Mike, between Pittsburgh and Penn State, which team has the most first round draft picks in history?
I'm going to go Penn State.
Penn State. And is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right. Locking you in place. lock Derpy in place. Caleb does have a trivia he's going to do after this as well. And Yinzer Jones, he thinks that Penn State has around 40 and Pitt has around 20. So he's saying Penn State as well. Guys, the question of the day, between Pitt and Penn State, which one of these two teams has more first-round draft picks? Players go to the NFL via the draft in the first round. Mike says Penn State. Derpy says Pitt. Yinzer Joe says Penn State. The answer is by way of 42 to 27. 42 to 27 is Penn State, guys. Penn State, 42 overall, number one first-round draft picks. Pitt, 27 of them. Again, they both fall in the top 25 in this particular category. So good on you, and nice try, Derpy. I liked your pick. Don't get me wrong. It just wasn't the right pick. Yeah, Caleb, whenever you're ready, go ahead and shoot your question over the day over. Mike, I do want to say this in the meantime, that if you ever wanted to be a backup in a movie, I've been bringing up this Hershey movie that's being made about Hershey, Pennsylvania. A lot of it is being taped right here in Pittsburgh, guys. And I just want to throw out there, if you wanted to be an extra in this movie, I read that it is going to be $225 for a 12-hour day. So, I mean, not fantastic, but for going and standing around and hanging out with people and just doing, that kind of thing, $225. They're looking for extras for this movie they're making about Hershey. A lot of it's going to be right here in Pittsburgh. Again, $225 for a 12-hour shift if you're interested. I did want to throw that out there.
There we go. I'll go. Derpy, let's go.
Let's see. Tortilla says Penn State Penitentiary. Okay, here goes Caleb's question. You ready, guys? In honor of the NBA playoffs, which Pittsburgh native is the highest scorer in NBA playoff history? Ooh. The highest scorer in NBA playoff history. I'm going to say Pistol Pete Maravich.
Ooh.
That's what I was going with too, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pistol Pete.
Pistol Pete right here in Aliquippa.
Yeah.
Same town that Mike Ditka and Darrell Rivas and Ty Law and Dorsett and many, 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 many other great athletes have came from Aliquippa. That is my pick. I'm going to say Pistol Pete Maravich, Caleb. And he also says as in most points in playoff career. Tortilla says, so we actually could get Derpy in the we can. Yes. Like a Oompa Loompa Derpy. So let's wait to see what Caleb says. We could be wrong, Mike. We could be right. But it just seems right to me because I can't think of anybody else from Pittsburgh who would be in that kind of position. I know that We'll wait to see what his answer is. Anybody else have any guesses? Go ahead and throw it up on the board. And he says it is not Pistol Pete.
Oh, maybe because TJ McConnell.
Tortilla says, to be honest, I don't know any Pitt natives in the NBA, so I'm just going to say LeBron. Portland Trailblazers legend and Hall of Famer Maurice Lucas. I did not know that.
Neither did I.
Very interesting. That is interesting. I didn't know. I would have never guessed that. Good question. Good question as always. Mike, last words. Here it is, man. Before we see you tonight, live streaming for the draft. This will be the last time we see you, Mike. What do you got? What's your last take of the day on tonight's draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Just remember, it's going to take about 3 years before we know how good this draft class was.
But Mike, I think we knew a little earlier that the Kenny Pickett draft was, you know what I'm saying? So some
right away. Yeah.
But because I remember you telling me we'll know in about 3 years how this is going to be, and he was already gone by that point.
And remember, hey, a lot of people and the media were calling Troy Polamalu a bust, and he went on to have a Hall of Fame career. A lot of people were upset that T.J. Watt was a first-round pick, and he's having a Hall of Fame career. So, I thought the picks of Lawrence Timmons and Lamar Woodley, two linebackers, were two of the dumbest picks we ever did, and they helped bring a Super Bowl here. So, We don't know, but it is, as a fan, fun to get excited and pissed off on these draft picks. So
I tell you what,
I just can't wait.
really
man.
like Lawrence Timmons. Woodley was the one that I didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't like either of them. I'm like, why we drafted 2 linebackers? I think they were like skill position players I wanted, but they both turned into key cogs in that thing. And Lamar Woodley's downfall happened. He had a great little span of a prime he was really dominant on the outside, then he just fell off. But Lawrence Timmons, my God, tackling machine.
Derpy, last word on the two dumb Yinzers here before we head into the draft, which is just hours away, guys, in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Derpy, what's your last take, brother?
I got 2 things. I'm gonna torture that doll if it's a defensive lineman.
You're gonna torture Mike's doll?
Yes, if it's a defensive lineman.
All right.
And the other thing is, we're from the town with the great football team. We cheer the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Do you really want that? Do you really want this one dancing and singing around like an Oompa Loompa at the chocolate factory? Who brought that up? Tortilla.
Yes, we do.
You want to hear that? Thinking all them crazy songs that the Oompa Loompa sang before crazy shit happened. You know what? I'm just going to say this. My pick, and it's been from day one, I say the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to take Jackson Dart with that pick. He may not be there. He may be there, but that's been my pick since day one. I'm staying consistent, guys. If we get Shedeur Sanders, which I don't think he's going to make it to 21, I wouldn't hate it. I think it's going to get very interesting for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if that is in fact the case. I say they go with their quarterback tonight. I just think that that's just the way I feel, guys. Let me see. Mark Malone says we've got to walk with Caleb Johnson and either Shuck or Howard. This is critical. It is. This is a critical draft. And again, for a draft that I don't think has potential to be a great draft, I think this is a very critical. This is a very important draft because again, we're filling some very important positions. You got to do it right. You got to be smart about it. Caleb says if it's defensive lineman, can Derpy break his fire? You know what?
I will.
Yes, it's a deal. It's a deal. Mike has a blow up. I don't know. That's what Derpy calls that dummy.
It's not a blow up doll.
It's a
dummy.
I say it's Mike's
voodoo doll.
It's Mike's smarter half. Derpy calls it his voodoo doll.
God, don't take a black light.
That's right, Caleb. And Caleb knows, Mike, do not take a black light to Mike's doll.
Hey, it's a dummy of me. It's my doppelganger. What me and my dummy do on our own time. Yeah. Why do you think I rub it in certain spots, Derpy? Get double sensation.
Also, guys, the TNA wrestling, Mike, they're returning to Pittsburgh for the first time since a long time ago. I don't know when it was. Pittsburgh, Mike, TNA wrestling is coming back soon. I heard they're coming with two shows. So if you are into wrestling or TNA, that's coming back to Pittsburgh, Mike, after a long time coming. So just wanted to throw that out there. What am I forgetting? Listen, I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much from everybody on the Two Dumb Yinzers. Thank you. Yes. I also want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. Always. I do want to thank everybody at home. Maybe you're in school, maybe you're in the car, or even at the gym. Thank you so much as well for coming to hang out. It is draft day, everybody. Just hours away. We hope you come back and hang out with Mike and Derpy tonight, going live at draft time. Stick around with them, comment, hang out, talk about every pick. I'll definitely be by on the board to talk for a while, but we hope to see everybody come by. Micah, what am I forgetting, man? Anything?
I don't think so, man. I think we touched it all. We got the draft, we got the Penguins, we got the Buccos. We got our hockey at least, yeah. Yeah, I think we're good, man. We got it all.
I do want to say, what a great interview the other day.
It was.
Makai Chavez come by. Really great interview. We want to say thanks to her one more time as well. Excited to see them kick off their season this weekend as well, Mike. They do kick off in Tampa Bay on Saturday. Grab a couple more of these messages.
Ooh.
Does Mike's doll have an OnlyFans? That's a good question.
You got to search for it.
Well, yeah, have a great good one, everyone. Let's hope that we nail this pick tonight for sure, brother. Caleb says, school, if you're a kid watching this show and you should be taken away from your parents by the state. I couldn't agree more with Caleb. But I think what we're going to do, Mike, is we're going to wrap up the show with a Aunt Peaches song. So stick around. This was made by the Two Dumb Yinzers in-house AI band. Of course, we released a Mike song last week and also a Derpy song. So, guys, as we do wrap up today, stick around for maybe an extra 2 minutes. Check out the song about his Derpy's Aunt Peaches. We all know that his Aunt Peaches and her sister Fanny, they like to go out and get themselves into some adult trouble. So we do have a song that we had made and prepared. We'll play that as we out today. But let me just say, Derpy, Mike, anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Nope. Thank you all for joining. Hopefully to see a bunch of you tonight. Let's go Steelers, baby.
Absolutely.
Mike is bald.
Hey, no truth, all truth there, right, guys? And I do want to say one more time, thank you, everybody. Great seeing you, John, and great seeing you, everybody else as well on the board. Super thankful. And obviously, guys, it's draft day. I hope you have a great day up until that point. And when that day comes, I hope your day gets even better because the pick exceeds your expectations of what the Steelers may do. And they can do something that is going to help this team move forward. So, again, tonight, come back here, hang out with the guys, live stream, Two Dumb Yinzers during the draft. Steelers picked 21. Mike says last year, 1038 was when 21 picked. So just something to keep in mind. A lot of things going on in people's days. I do want to say, throw that out there so everybody knows. What time you guys going live? Right before the draft, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So just right before 8 o'clock, I assume?
Yeah, right before, or maybe even like right at 8 because the pick ain't going to happen right away. So, yeah.
All right, but a lot of picks are. So come hang out. I can't wait. I'll be here.
It's going to be a blast.
So we hope to see everybody. Again, thank you, everybody. Great seeing you guys. It's going to be great to see you guys tomorrow as well because I cannot wait to talk about what we did in the first round of this year's draft. It's finally here. 2025 draft tonight, 8 o'clock. Correct? 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, baby.
8 o'clock, baby.
All right. Derpy and Mike will be back in a few hours. For Derpy, for Mike and the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the Two Dumb Yinzers, have a great draft day. We'll see everybody tomorrow at our regular time. Mike's going to round out the show with a Aunt Peaches song. So I hope you enjoy. See everybody tomorrow. Bye-bye.
And fatty queens of the night, Cleveland steamer dreams out of sight. Under moonlight they rule the town, hiding crowds where shame won't drown. High heels clicking through the alleyways, whiskey whispers and smoky haze. Fanny laughs while Peaches spins, straight hills for the devil's grins. Peaches and Fanny, queens of the night, Cleveland steamer dreams out of sight. Under moonlight they rule the town, hiding crowds where shame won't drown. High heels clicking through the alley maze, whiskey whispers and smoky haze. Fanny laughs while Peaches spins, girls straight halos for their devil's grins. Peaches and Fanny, queens of the night, Cleveland steamer dreams out of sight. Under moonlight they rule the town, hiding crowds where shame won't drown. Their lipsticks, webbing gilded red, stories told in beds, no vows were said. Derpy's blind pieces ain't so clean, blinded by love, can't see what's obscene. a sly little wink. Fanny pours another glass to drink. They own the dark, they own the sin. Prayers at church, but tonight they win.